This is On the Money with Ryan Wheels, financial advisor, founder of Allied Wealth, advisors all around the Texas area. And as you were just saying, I mean, you could even text us if you're watching this on YouTube. You can talk to folks virtually. Basically, you are the virtual advisor all across the country, Mr. Ryan Wheelis. What do you still think is the number one way that Americans create their wealth? Is it today through, high-frequency trading algorithms? Is it through crypto? Is it finding the right hedge fund manager, tortoise or hare?
It's kind of interesting. So the number one way Americans are becoming millionaires, right? You would think it might be crypto or the latest stock tip or the whatever it may be, Spike, but you know what it is? It's tried and true. It's the good old-fashioned saving money. Saving money. It's paying yourself first. It's saying, hey, listen, I know that I'm on this train where I get to the end of the month and there's no money left over. Think about that for a second.
Yeah.
Right? And a lot of people are on that train. And you got to get off that train, folks, because the number one way for you to become a millionaire is not win the lottery. It's not buy crypto. It's not buy the hot stock. It is to save money. And let me tell you right now, in the old days, when you had retirement, you were allowed, you had a pension, right? Your company invested money on your behalf for the time you spent at that company. When you retired, you walk out the door, you get a pension, you get a gold watch. And then at 62, your pension drops to the amount of your Social Security check. And basically your income is replaced, some of it inflation adjusted, the Social Security portion, for as long as you have breath in your body. And you didn't really have any K or any investments in the stock market and that sort of thing. Well, that changed. You are now responsible for funding and financing your own retirement. And the number one way to make that outcome a comfortable reality for you is to save. All right. Most of us have 401ks or the ability to have a 401k at our work. Okay. Mm-hmm. And I strongly encourage you to put as much money into that 401k as you possibly can. Have it come out of your check and take what's left out of your check and spend that. Okay. But make sure you're at least having the money from your 401k contribution come out of your check and you don't even see it. Now you're paying yourself first. Paying yourself first, folks, is that easy. Okay. Now, that's on the kind of the front end, Spike. But what about some of our clients that are, getting up there above 50? What should they be doing? Okay. Well, when you get to 50, you have the ability to play catch up. Okay. And the IRS with the 11 the new catch up rule, okay, you can
there's two. I'll help you out here with it because there's the 50 rule and then there's going to be a new super catch up rule for those over 60. It's going to be 11,500. So 7,500 is this year. Your catch up is not going
50.
up. Yeah, for 50s.
Yeah, for
Where's 30,500 that you can save. Over 60, from 60 to 63, they're going to supersize it. I think everybody in America is familiar with that phrase. Supersize it so you could save up to $34,750. So you take that 3 years. I mean, you're saving almost $100,000 right there. Actually, over $100,000 along with any growth. I mean, that's just if there's no growth whatsoever. So I get it, but is this the most efficient, the best place because we've talked about this phrase before, ramping up your retirement? If we're at 50 to 60, is this totally we want to be maximizing into these accounts?
Here's the way it works. If you get a match, make sure you're putting at least that in, period, because it's free money. You get 100% return on the money you put in the account because of the match. All right, so that's a no-brainer. I do think they've come out with this law, Spike, because people are living longer. And I wish they would bring that down into our 50s because plenty of people would take advantage of that 11,250. Okay. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The question is, should someone who is, 60, 61, 62 be taking advantage of this? Well, to me, it depends. And the reason why I say that is a lot of times people will come to us and we look at their tax situation. And that's where we largely start with most plans is how do I reduce this person's tax liability? Because if I can reduce your tax liability, I am miles ahead of any competitor you can go to and shop my company against. Largely because a lot of them out there can't even talk about taxes at all, okay? So let's say I can reduce your tax liability. I'm just throwing numbers out here, folks, by 20% over your lifetime. What's that worth to you? It's probably a significant amount, okay? Now, check this out. We're taught to save in a 401k, and you're hearing me advocate for that right now. But I'm also advocating for this. Look at the composition of your account structure. If all of your money is inside of a 401k or a pension, you're in a situation to where all the dollars you spend in retirement are 100% taxable at ordinary income tax rates, which are the highest tax rates out there. All right? So what I might invite you to do is, even though this looks attractive, I might invite you to save money outside of the 401k. So stop putting money in above the match. Okay? So put in, take advantage of the match, and then stop. The balance of those dollars, I do want you to save them, but I want you to save them into an account that's not a retirement account. It's a brokerage account. You go put the money in there. The dollars have been taxed, and what that allows us to do is have some tax control in retirement, right? We can put them in a savings account. We can put them to work in the market. We can get dividend income off of them and get a 15%, 15% capital gains tax treatment. That's one thing. The other thing I would also consider doing is trying to do some Roth IRA conversions in the 401k and trying to move money out of 401k and an IRA into Roth. And the goal would be to have a third of your money in 401k pension, a third of your money in Roth IRA, and a third of your money in after-tax accounts. And the reason why we like that mix is it gives you the ability to control the amount of taxes you're going to pay in retirement versus having no control, because every dollar that you have is in a tax-infested retirement account. So, Spike, to answer that question, I think that should people be taking advantage of this $11,250? In some cases, absolutely yes. I do believe that, and in some cases, no. But Spike, that's why we do this show, is people don't know, right? So I think what you should be doing, if you're wondering about this, is I think you should call us at 844-9445. I think we should have a conversation about the composition of your accounts and how you should be saving money going forward. Let's put together a plan, a savings plan that has meaning. That's not just throw money at the problem and hope something good happens. Let's build for you a tax structure and the composition of your accounts that allows you to pay less money in taxes legally in your golden years and keep more money in your pocket. Because here's an example, Spike. If you've got $1,000 a month in income, and you're paying 15% taxes, okay, you're paying $150 a month in taxes, spending $850, all right? If your taxes double and go to 30%, guess what? Your income went from $850 a month down to $700. Your income has dropped 30% because of taxes. So people talk about inflation. I also kind of think there's a concept out there like tax inflation, if you think about it the same way, right? So let's make sure that we're putting money away in a way that allows you to have some tax control. And folks, to get a tax plan and a savings plan from us, all you got to do is text plan to 21,000. Text the word plan to 21,000. Go to retirenowhouston.com, calculate your retirement tax bill, and Spike's going to jump in here with some knowledge bombs for us.
A question for you, though, because yes, it is important to be saving into these, but what about what we're saving in? There's very little discussion when you start signing up for your 401k about what you're supposed to be in. You have to do the research on your own. So is there an importance of what you choose?
I think that in a 401k, you should be in index funds. I do. I think index funds, usually there's this whole, if you're like, you go to Jack Bogle, Vanguard, the Bogleheads, there's all this things out there that you can't beat the stock market. In some cases, you can. Can you do it every year? No. In a market cycle, can you? Sure, you can. It's possible, folks, okay? But year to year, it just depends on how you look at it, okay? But in a 401k, I do believe you should be dollar cost averaging into index funds. I do believe that. Now, some 401k plans are starting to put these things called QLACs, which are qualified long-term annuity contracts. I'm not opposed to those because what I look at those is a pension, right? And anyone I know who's getting a pension check each month, the only thing they complain about is that the pension check they're getting is not bigger. They wish they had more pension, okay? Because they realize that retirement's about income, not net worth. So in 401ks, index funds and potentially a QLAC, qualified long-term annuity contract, for sure.
Wow. And have you started to see those?
Not yet. There's
Okay.
some plans out there that have them, but they're
Coming.
not as prevalent as I think they're going to become. But, the other part of it, too, is once you get to retirement, the amount of risk you take in an index fund may not be the same amount of risk you should be taking in retirement, because now what we're doing is taking money out of our portfolio each month. All right. So instead of adding money in, we're taking money out. So what we don't want to do is get into a situation where we're dollar cost averaging in reverse. That's a quick way to find ourselves in the poorhouse. So yes, the investment vehicles that we use to fund and finance our retirement should be different than what we're using inside of our 401k.
For our radio listeners, that's going to be all the time that we have this week. Call the phone number right now. You can get started on your own no-cost retirement flight plan from Ryan Wheelis and the team here, 844-944-7555. But you, sir, have the new text tool. What exactly is that?
It's text plan, the word plan, PLAN to 21,000. Text plan to 21,000.
Thank you so much for listening and watching. For Ryan Wheelis, I'm Spike Spangle. We'll both be back again next week.